Let's give you a process that we can build upon as we learn to factor some of these terms and polynomials and whatnot. The first thing we want to do is identify what the greatest common factor is between each of the terms in the problem. One term is 5x squared, one term is 30. There's no variables, so a variable cannot be there's no variables in the second term, so there can't be any variable in my greatest common factor. Then look at the constants, 5 and 30. And what's common between those? 5. So I would say that my greatest common factor is a 5. Then the next step I want to do is rewrite my expression in terms with that greatest common factor, which means 5 times x squared plus 5 times 60, or 5 times 6. 5 times 6 is still 30. I just expressed it as a factor, as factors, including my greatest common factor. And then 5x squared, I just put a multiplication in between it, 5 times x squared, to kind of set it off to side. So you see in both of these terms, there's my greatest common factor. The third step is we want to use our distributive property and undistributed them out. So I'm going to pull the 5's out of both of these. And then I'm going to figure out what's left. And I have to put in parentheses what's left. Since I'm distributing a term out of both of these terms, I have to make sure that I keep that set in a bracket. So what's left is an x squared plus a 6. And there I went ahead and factored that term completely. A common mistake that I do see sometimes is that we'll forget these brackets and I'll pull out a 5 and then I'll leave the x squared plus the 6 written like that. Well, that's an incorrect result because one, it doesn't get to what we started with. So just kind of be careful of that as we continue.